How's it going, people? Welcome back to the Supporters Club. We've got Crystal Palace this Sunday and Wilfried Zaha with a point to prove. But we've got a man of our own with a point to prove too. The man we signed instead of Zaha, Nicolas Pepe. What do you guys think about him so far? Let us know in the comments. But I've got a panel with me. Curtis back again.
Who's saying, bro?
Livz, first time on?
First time.
Yeah. You got a controversial opinion about Pepe we're going to get into. Deluded, as always, nice to have you on, G. So let's start with you. Let's start with you, Livz. Obviously, a couple of weeks ago, you had an interview where you said you'd prefer Zaha. You backed up by proving your tweet before we signed Pepe. You wanted Zaha. Are you still in that state of mind, or?
Well, obviously, my whole point in the beginning was, obviously, let's sign someone that's proven already in the Premier League, you know. Like, we was in a position where we needed to bring in a player that straight away can make a difference, you know, that can help us get back into the top four. And I feel like Zaha, he did play well against us when they beat us. In the last couple of games, you know what I mean, of the season, he actually done well against us. And he showed that he's an Arsenal fan. He showed us he's an Arsenal fan. He showed that he wanted to come to Arsenal, play at a high level. So I felt like that him being Premier League proven, that would have been, you know, a sign that, you know, we wouldn't really be stressed about. But obviously we've gone with Nicolas Pepe, who done great with Lille, you know, scoring 19 goals last season. So it's like, I couldn't complain, you know what I mean? But I just had my preference with Zaha. I wanted to play it safe.
Yeah.
Bring in someone that's already Prem proven. And with Zaha, the way he plays on the pitch, I can see the determination, the hunger, the fight.
Would you have spent the money on Zaha, 80 mil?
Well, if Palace wanted 80 million, and we pay 72 million, then I wouldn't mind paying an extra 8 million for Zaha, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just that proven quality in the Premier League.
So even now, as 9 games into the season, you'd still have preferred Wilfried Zaha over Pepe?
Yeah, I would say that right now, but obviously Pepe can still prove me wrong, you know what I mean?
Yeah, of course, hopefully he does, isn't it?
But my whole point was, Pepe will come good. There's no doubt looking at him, he's got quality, no doubt about it. But it's the fact that everyone keeps saying, give him time. But the question is, are we in a position right now to be giving these players time? We've been out of the Champions League for how many seasons now? So it's like, we need serious impact, you know what I mean? We need players to come in straight away, make that difference, bring us back in, you know what I mean? Like Chelsea finished, what was it, like 10th, 15 to 16 season when Leicester won. The season after, what happened? Changes were made, won the title. Like, that's the impact I want at Arsenal. Does that make sense?
No, it makes sense, and that's why I did mention Kroenke in my last interview after Sheffield United, because I feel like the investment this summer wasn't enough, but that's a subject for another day. Obviously, we're discussing Pepe and Zaha, we're discussing the Palace game this Sunday, and you make fair points. Obviously, Zaha knows the league. Zaha's got a point to prove. He's been Man United. It didn't work out for him. He supports Arsenal. He probably would have loved to prove that point at Arsenal. You can see how Man United are right now. It probably would have given him extra incentive to bury them, let's say. But I can't lie to you. This summer, the main attacking player I wanted was Nicolas Pepe. It's just that after the Europa League final, I thought, no chance. He's going to a Champions League team. But we managed to pull it out of the bag. My only issue with that is, when you hear 80 million for Zaha, it's like, that's not the area we need to fix right now. So I thought to myself, why not go and spend that 80 on Koulibaly? That was my comparative factor when I looked at Zaha. But then with Nicolas Pepe, yes, we spent 72, but it's over 3 years. Do you get me? So I can't say, we should have spent that 72 million on a top quality centre-back when there isn't a top quality centre-back available for that.
Although we did obviously need a centre-back, you know, last season, and Koulibaly would have been a great signing. We actually did need a winger. We need like someone that can carry the ball, you know what I mean? I feel like last season, Iwobi was getting a lot of stick, you know, getting played out wide, Mkhitaryan, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There was times that there was times that we was playing, you know, the away games, we was just playing with no width, you know what I mean?
100%, we needed a winger.
We both needed both of them, you know what I mean? If we could have signed a top centre-back and a top winger, it was great. And obviously, we needed goals as well, you know what I mean? So it's like, signing a winger was very important, although signing a centre-back was as well. So it's like, with Pepe, there was a buzz about him in the French league, you know what I mean? And what made, I think, all us Arsenal fans get more, you know, amped up was that other big clubs were interested in him, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
there was talks Bayern was interested in, Man United were interested in, Chelsea, Liverpool, etc., you know what I mean? So it's like, wow, for us to pull it out of the bag. For us to pull it out of the bag when these clubs wanted him, wow, you know what I mean? It gave us that...
and I think that wow factor took our attention off the main issues at the moment, which again is another story for another day. But Deluded, what's your opinion on Nicolas Pepe so far?
Well, Pepe, I can't lie to you. Right now, he's not really got me in any position to defend him by, but I think he will come good. I think there's been times he's kind of shown what he can give us. He can be an outlet on the flank. He likes to take people on. Obviously, his decision-making at times hasn't cut it, and he's still adapting.
Yeah.
I think you made a great point in regards to spending earlier. I think it really came down to just the two clubs. I think Palace and Leo obviously both need money respectively, but Leo, you look at their squad, it's a young sort of squad. They sell players. The way the deal was allegedly structured, it looks more up our street, allegedly, with the current dynamic of the club. We tried what we could allegedly for Palace with Zaha, and Premier League clubs don't need money. There's been several transfers we've seen of ridiculous fees. I think Pepe will come good, but I can't lie to you, I'm a bit of both, because while I wanted Pepe, and like you said, it was a coup for whatnot, other clubs wanted him. Zaha was there, like you said, he was an Arsenal fan. You kind of know what you get with Zaha. He hasn't started off the season well in regards to him currently, potentially because he wants to move away. But I would have been ecstatic with Zaha. I'm happy with Pepe. I think he'll come good. But it's almost an impossible job with Pepe because of the way we're paying it. It looks like £72 million. It's a crazy sort of player. To a degree, I don't think he'll never justify that fee through no fault of his own, purely because he said 19 goals or whatever he scored. You look at them, a couple of them are penalties. You look at his overall game, he's still developing. So the club might have really put him in a situation, not necessarily to fail, but like you said, we need instant results. The player minus the transfer fee is two different things. For me, we all know in football, it should be a thing. When you're paying £70 million for a player, they should be the finished product. Pepe isn't that. He's still developing. Don't get it twisted. There are games he should have done better and whatnot. But that's what I feel, man. It's just down to him to prove it.
No, I agree to an extent, but I think in this day and age, you can't say 70 mils for proven talent anymore.
No. That's what I mean. I said it should be. But
yeah, it should be.
Now
yeah.
it's crazy, yeah.
100%. When I look at the comparison between Zaha and Pepe again, the way I looked at it at the time, I would have taken either or both. Yeah. But the way I look at it is you get Zaha for 80 mil. As soon as you sign him, as soon as he walks through the door, his price tag goes down. Arsenal are not in a position to be taking those risks, in my opinion.
But would you say we'll make that back on Pepe, though?
Potentially, yeah. The way the market's wild right now, potentially, yeah.
Potentially, yeah.
You know what I mean? 'Cause at the end of the day,
all it takes is one.
Lukaku went for 75, rising to 90 just a couple of years ago.
Like that, yeah. Even 70 this
but
year.
with Lukaku, what gives them the edge is stats.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, but Pepe...
But consistently having good stats in arguably the best league in the world, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
so
definitely,
people
obviously.
look at that and go, you know what he's doing in the Premier League, of course he can go to Serie A and get a lot of goals.
And that's what Pepe has to prove now. He's done it in League One, he's improved season on season, now he's taken the step up. And you've got to give him credit, because at the end of the day, like you mentioned, there was other teams in for him. He got Lille into the Champions League. Coming to Arsenal was a test for himself.
Do you think he needed more time at Lille? Because I think he only had like one proper breakthrough out season.
We can't say whether he needed more time. He can tell us that. He took the risk to come to Arsenal. He took the risk to come to a club that's not in the Champions League. Well. He must have known the pressure. You're coming from a club where you've got them Champions League football through your productivity to a club where we've craving it now, and we're looking at you coming in as the guy to bring it for us. So I feel like for a man to do that, credit to him. I feel like coming to Arsenal right now we're at a very difficult stage in our tenure, do you know what I mean? Similar to Man United.
Yeah.
Do players want to come to us as much as they used to? No. Do you get me?
Was the interest really legit for him from other clubs?
And that's why I kind of rate Ozil. Ozil came to us, this is funny enough, I said this is why I rate Ozil. Ozil came to us when we had nobody. Ozil came to us when Santi Cazorla and Theo Walcott were our best players. So for Ozil to come from Real Madrid to us, I give him credit for that. Yeah. He took the risk. It was a big risk to take. Now it hasn't worked out, but in hindsight, I loved him for that. He didn't have to come to us. He could have gone to any club he picked at that time. So I feel like Nicolas Pepe, although he's not the superstar Ozil was at that time, he had a host of clubs after him. And I feel like picking Arsenal, he could open the eyes of new talent who would also pick Arsenal. But Curtis, we haven't touched on you yet. Nicolas Pepe, Zaha, what's your opinion?
Do you know what? I'll be honest, I wanted Zaha over him. Like Livz is saying, I just felt like we're under a lot of pressure as a club at the moment. 3 years in a row in the Europa League. And I think for the price tag, we needed somebody to come in and hit the ground running straight away. And I think, as Deluded's saying there, the price tag isn't necessarily his fault. Yeah. That's just the way the game's going now. But we need somebody to come in and make an instant impact. And I felt like with Zaha, every year I think his level's getting slightly better. And I think knowing him a little bit, he's got a certain swagger and arrogance about him, that he wants to embrace that and become the man. I'm looking at Pepe at the moment. He looks a little bit overwhelmed and short of confidence. He was last year scoring a lot of goals, And when you're a footballer and everything's sort of going your way, it's easy. But when it's not going your way, you've got to show a different side to your mentality. And he's getting a lot of questions asked of him at the moment.
I'd agree to an extent, Curtis, but you know what? One moment in that Sheffield United game that stands out for me is when, I think it was at the 70th minute, we had a free kick about 25 yards out. Pepe picked that ball up.
Yeah.
It was his. Now, if he's suffering from a lack of confidence, a player wouldn't do that.
Yeah,
so
possibly.
it looks like he is, and that's why I blame the transition. That's why I can't blame Oba too much. I can't blame Saka, Pepe too much, because I feel like our transition lacks and it doesn't suit them.
Yeah.
Do you get me? But I've seen even the penalty against Villa.
Yeah,
he could have whispered back to Oba saying, "No, you take it."
Yeah.
But that was a big penalty. I feel like
Very big.
People laugh at us on the Aston Villa, but we was down to 10 men. That will bring us back into the game. In the end, we won the game.
Do you know what is as well with Zaha? I think he's a better ball carrier. And I think we haven't got enough players in our team who can get the ball and dribble over long periods.
Would you say he's better or a stronger ball carrier? Because I think Pepe is probably
more and more confident.
Yeah, Pepe's more fluid, I would say.
He's fluid.
Zaha's strong with it.
I feel like Zaha's just way more aggressive with it. And that comes from him playing in this league. I'm not even necessarily saying he's better than Pepe, because we haven't seen the best of Pepe.
No one's even said that.
No one said that. I think we're sort of saying, have we got time to wait for him to become a good player? Because the manager could get sacked. We could be in the Europa League again. We needed an instant impact in that area for that price.
I agree. And for that price, like you mentioned, the instalment thing. Yeah, I feel like Arsenal went for it because it suited us. I feel like if Napoli turned around and said, you can have the same deal for Koulibaly, I feel like we would have picked Koulibaly. It's just that I feel like this one worked for us. Zaha, they wouldn't give us that deal. Maybe potentially other players we looked at, they wouldn't give us the instalment deal. So this one worked for us. And now we've got to make it work for us. Do you know what I mean? In terms of productivity, making it work for these top players. That's why the transition is key to me. So obviously we've got Zaha this Sunday. He's got a point to prove against us. But so far this season, he hasn't really performed well. Do you put that down to the rumours?
I mean, I got a few mutual friends who know him, and they've said like his head's a little bit with the move not happening. I mean, he put the transfer request in even to go to Everton at the end of the window, so he was desperate to get out. So I think he's got to be a bit stronger and just get his head down and play, but I think the move not happening definitely affected him. But every time he plays against Arsenal, he seems to rip us apart at the Emirates. I mean, last year, I think we put Jenkinson at right back, and he destroyed him, got him dragged off. So, you know, it wouldn't surprise me if he has another good game at the weekend, especially if Chambers and Kolasinac are at fullback.
That can't happen, but again, that's another story for the Unai Emery episode. We can start talking about all the fullbacks and the decisions he's been making.
That's it.
It's just not suiting our attack right now. That is the be-all and end-all, and that's why I can't judge Nicolas Pepe too harshly yet. Like a friend asked me yesterday, what's your opinion on him? I can't give an opinion yet. I just feel like the team isn't suited.
Sometimes we have to look at his body language as well. Like, I feel like when I was watching him at Old Trafford, one thing that really got to me was his body language. Like, I didn't feel he had the same determination as Zaha would have. You know what I mean? Zaha, I feel like he's them type of guys. He'll get knocked down 10 times, he'll get back up. You know what I mean? I feel like Nicolas Pepe, he will let that get of him. You know what I mean?
That's not fair to a degree. I hear what you're saying, but it's not fair.
No, but you know, I look at it.
A couple of times he gets tackled and whatnot, and he still shows an
So you mean that when Reyes got kicked off the park and he's mentally damaged from there?
I get what you mean. Zaha's typically more galvanised.
That's different. With the Reyes thing was different because RIP. Because with Reyes, football was different at that time. You know what I mean? Referees were allowing players at Gary level to kick out of him.
You mean the mental effect that it had on Reyes? It might have a potential impact on Pepe.
No, but with Pepe, it's a confidence thing in his ability to play. You know what I mean? With Reyes, it was the hostility of the game. You know what I mean? How serious it was, which was completely different. But I felt like at that game with Man United against Man United, he played against Tunzanevi, who's actually a natural centre back.
Yeah.
So that natural centre back got shifted to left back at that game. You know what I mean?
So he should have had the.
So I felt like that he should have looked at the team sheet and thought, you know what, I got to run at him. You know what I mean? This was going away at Old Trafford to do this. This will boost my confidence up. The fans will love it. You know what I mean? So I feel like Zaha would have thought of it like that.
I agree, and you know, I agree with that, and it goes back to my point on why I can't blame Pepe too much or Oba or Saka, because the transition, and why I say that again is you look at Liverpool, yeah. How many times a match does Mane or Salah get to run at a defender one-on-one. Probably 3-4 times each minimum.
Yeah.
You look at Man City, Mahrez, Silva, Sterling,
build-up
Sané.
play there.
They
Yeah.
get at least
And a
3-4
purpose.
chances where they are one-on-one against the defender running at them.
100.
In my opinion, Pepe maybe 3-4 times in the 9 games he's had a
he's won
chance to run at a man one-on-one. And that again goes back to the slow transition. If you get it out wide quick enough,
Yeah.
then you give the attack the best opportunity to catch the other team on the back foot. We're so slow in the middle now. The other team are never caught on the back foot. Against Sheffield United, there was one moment in the second half where Chambers just smashed it down the right and Pepe chased it, was one-on-one with the defender, cut him in, crossed it. The chance failed to materialise, but it was like a quick transition.
Signs in that.
And even his chance in the first half came from hitting them on the counter-attack.
And who started that chance? He picked it up at the
He
area.
should have scored it.
He should have scored it.
100%
It was
should have scored
Sheffield,
it.
he showed me what I needed to see. You know what I mean?
To give you hope.
Yeah,
Yeah,
to get me
some
like
promise there.
everything I was onto him about. He showed me that. He showed me determination, fight. You know what I mean? Asking for the ball. Like I didn't see that in the previous games. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like I feel like he probably went into that game with Sheffield United. You know they've just newly promoted. Let's get on with it. You know what I mean? So I feel like if he can show performance like that, even though he's unlucky to score as well, just because of that performance and how hard he was working, that's all I need to see, and I know I've got faith that he will come good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I feel like
Against Liverpool though.
Liverpool.
Yeah.
Liverpool. That's what I'm trying to say. But to see the way it dipped,
Yeah.
how it's dramatically dipped. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
crazy. Like
100%.
I hear you,
Like
yeah,
after
yeah.
Liverpool and Tottenham, I saw signs against 2 of the top 6, and I thought, if he's showing signs in these games, surely when we play Villa,
The Leicester
surely when we
teams.
play
Yeah,
Sheffield
he'll
United,
start
Could it be
scoring,
fatigue?
yeah.
bang.
Do you think it could be fatigue?
He didn't have
'Cause
a
obviously
pre-season, did he?
Didn't have pre-season.
No. And
The
he
way
come
the
from
Prem is,
African
he's
nations.
always playing. It's quickly turned
it shouldn't
around.
be up to the club then to give him little after sessions.
Yeah.
After-
Maybe that's why he weren't
Put
playing
him on
initially
a-
as well. Yeah, of course.
Put him on like a little plan of fitness.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, we say that, but you know what? I've never been a big fan of all this stuff. I come from a generation where you
You're
play
good
2
already,
games a
innit?
bloody week.
And you get on with it.
What's changed in humans that now they need extra care and extra rest when their nutrition has gone up, their
Yeah.
fitness levels
They
has
should
gone
be
up.
able to play more.
Do you get me?
science
Roy
area,
Keane,
yeah.
Roy Keane and them men were playing 90 minutes 2-3 times a week, back to back crunch games. Juventus away and then Arsenal away and these games, and they was doing it. Now we kind of wrap them all in a
Wrap
bit
them
of cotton wool, bubble wrap, whatever it is, and say it might be this.
Might be fatigue or
When
whatever.
really, I actually agree with all the points here. He hasn't lived up to the expectations so far. It's just I feel it's probably
coming.
a bit
If you look
too
at a
early.
lot of his goals at Lille and watch the highlights, he gets the ball high up the pitch. He's running onto the ball a lot of the time. We're giving him the ball and sort of saying, go and run at people.
his back
and
to goal.
with
No,
his
you've
back
got
to
skills, go
on
and
the
beat people.
halfway line, like you said, he's trying to run past 2 or 3 players every time, and I don't think that really suits him.
No, you're right.
And he is quite predictable in that he's all left-footed pretty much.
Yeah.
So he needs to be higher up the pitch where
And
he's getting the ball.
And that's why I see so much quality in him. He is very predictable, but he beats man.
Yeah, he does.
Like it's
something there,
nothing. And what I see as well, you see other teams with quality players around, yeah? Pepe does like a give and go. He'll run down the right, cut in on his left, give it, run round and hope for the goal. But we don't play like that. We don't have that. Might not be the quality, because quality is the wrong word, because up top we have got Oba, Laka, Saka,
There's
Martinelli.
no attacking patterns of play.
There's no patterns of play.
To
And that's
create.
why the criticism of Emery, I guess, is justified, because surely we should be seeing that.
Yeah,
Now,
100%.
and that's why I feel sorry a bit for Pepe, because in this generation, it's the same for every player. You sign for big money, you sign for an Arsenal, Man United, Tottenham. You're
Yeah.
going to get ripped as soon as
Straight
something
away,
goes wrong.
straight
I
away.
mean, no one's talking about Ndombele playing. What is he? 62 mil? How many goals have Tottenham conceded this season?
Maguire 80 mil.
Maguire 80 mil,
Pulisic,
50 mil, but because it's Arsenal, because our social media fan base is so rife, and they can be triggered really
And I
easily.
felt like as well with Pepe, he had way more of a buzz than the other players did.
100%.
I feel like way more other
Because of
top
the fact
clubs
that
wanted him. Yeah.
we're in
He had
the-
a
Yeah,
big
100%.
reputation.
Like nobody wanted us to sign Pepe. Like,
No.
like a lot of Man United fans would love to have signed Pepe. You know what I mean?
they
At that
wanted
time,
him.
A lot of people wanted. You know what I mean?
of
So it's like
course.
before he joined Arsenal, everybody was rating Nicolas
So now
Pepe.
they're praying for his
that's
downfall.
no
Yeah, of
doubt
course.
about
They're
that,
praying
yeah.
because we are.
Because Arsenal, yeah, it's
we are.
fan base.
100%.
I'm not gonna lie. I feel like we're the most hated club in the league in
Yeah.
terms of social media,
But to
in
be
terms of
fair,
fan
yeah,
base
go on.
and
'Cause
media.
our fan
I
base
feel
is
like we're
very
the
tight,
most
we're very
hated.
passionate.
Very passionate,
We
but
speak
at
with
times very
emotion sometimes,
stupid as
yeah.
well.
Yeah.
We was getting at United and Daniel James, so we kind of deserve it. To
Yeah,
be
you've
fair
got
with
to take
You've
it
got
if
to
you
take the
can
rough
give
with the smooth in
it.
that.
I think the thing is, everyone is agreeing that he's a talented player. We can all see he's a talented player. It's a case of getting the best out of him.
Yeah.
I think unless you're at like Neymar and Mbappe, them sort of levels, you can put them in majority of teams in the world, they're going to do something. Some players, they need a certain system, a certain tempo of football to make it work. I don't think the manager is helping him, and I think he needs a proper fullback behind him to push him forward. If you got Maitland-Niles or Chambers, they're probably saying, come back and help me a little bit. You're hoping Bellerin pushes him 10, 15 yards further forward
with Pepe,
and helps him.
if we have a fullback like Bellerin, you know, that's pushing up high up the pitch, the question is, would Pepe drop
back
and
in
do
for-
that work?
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
He worked hard the other night.
Yeah, Sheffield United.
He did work hard.
He does like to come inside a lot.
Yeah,
He hugs the touchline, what I like, but he wants to be involved with Lacazette and Aubameyang.
And I think that was suiting because when you get a fullback overlapping, the attention goes away from you a bit. The space opens up when you cut in. He scored a lot of bangers with his left foot. He's nearly hit the top corner twice, once against Liverpool, once against Sheffield United, with 25-yard efforts. Yes, he didn't score, but you can see he's confident enough to take them efforts. Who else in our side shoots with a man 2 yards away for the top corner?
Exactly.
None of them.
How many times do you see Mahrez like on the right, cut inside, Kyle Walker runs around, he cuts in and bends it.
Yeah.
And that's what I think Pepe
But I feel like
do that.
with City, when they do that, I feel like City can afford to do that because they'll have Kyle Walker bumming up, Mahrez come inside, but they'll have someone like Fernandinho, Gundogan protecting, you know what I mean?
Yeah, they're covering
like,
them.
yeah, does that make sense? But with us, I don't think we have that. So it's
bit
like,
wide open.
with Pepe, you know, cutting inside while Bellerin's overlapping, who's going to drop back now?
That's
You know
why
what I
we
mean?
can't be
'Cause we
too
can't rely on-
overcritical of Pepe. Let the other fans of other clubs be
Say what
critical
they
of
say.
him.
Yeah, we need to be
We
supporting
need to
him.
support him because we know that there's other areas in the squad that are not up to scratch yet. We know that you could put Mahrez in Pepe's place. He'll face the same
not
trials
gonna
and
happen.
tribulations
he
right
will,
now.
he will.
Zaha might be a bit different because he's powerful, he's stronger. I gave Mahrez example because Mahrez is someone we've been linked to. Mahrez is an ex-player of the year. Was he in the league that year?
Yeah,
Leicester?
yeah.
So he was someone that's proven in the league, but I feel like if he came to Arsenal right now and the way we transition, it's poor. I look at the Arsenal side, I look at Wenger's side at one time. I said to myself, Wenger needs to change his possession-based football to counter-attack. Because when you have Walcott, when you have Mesut Ozil, when you have Santi Cazorla, they suit a counter-attack. They suit, step back a bit, soak up pressure, attack. And I feel the same can be said now. I feel like our transition is so slow in the middle. Soak up pressure and then counter, because Xhaka won't need to pull off a worldie. He won't need to pull off a Pirlo ball. He'll just need to hit it out to the space, and then you've got Pepe, you've got Saka, you've got Oba, you've got these men all running. That's what I want to see from Arsenal. But this possession-based stuff, I feel like you said, it doesn't suit Pepe's game. So I feel
Even when
like
Ceballos come on, second half, you could see Ceballos had to drop so many times to get the ball. He was looking out
no
wide, you know what I
purpose
mean?
to our play,
He was
really.
he was looking out wide for our fullbacks to make that run.
Yeah.
They weren't there.
They wasn't there, you know what I mean? So it's like he's had to just pass back to Gundogan, you know what I mean? It was just getting repetitive, so I felt like...
Anyone with the ball in possession, that
Yeah.
happens.
I think you lot have all seen that 14-second clip where Leno plays it out to Xhaka. Xhaka plays it to
That's
Luis.
it.
Luis
Yeah.
plays it there.
And
there.
And we give it away.
15
None
yards
of
with the
them,
ball.
Give it away.
none of these players are breaking the lines.
Yeah.
When you're not breaking the lines, the attack suffers because you're giving the other team ample opportunity to get back, get behind the ball, or press you high up.
Yeah.
But do you know what I say about that, though? As much as I criticise these players and they have made an error, when you look at what they have in front of you, I've been trying to put myself into their shoes necessarily. As poor as Xhaka is, for example, when he receives that ball off the centre-half and he looks up, I don't necessarily see movement.
No.
And that's why I feel Aubameyang, for example, on top of being a quality player, it's a miracle he scores 20 league goals because we don't play to his strengths. He's all on the flank sometimes. What game was it he's crossing for Torreira and whatnot? We look at Pepe. What real attacking players at Arsenal right now are really excelling? Aubameyang's the exception because he's scoring goals, but are we getting the best out of him? And I will say about Pepe, it's not really the thing to be judging him on, but regardless of how he's been right now, he's given me something more than I've seen on the flanks last season. And that goes for Nelson, who's quite frustrating as well. Obviously, Saka's done his thing, and Martinelli's been here and there. So we've got some rich options. So, like you said, it comes down to Emre and how he wants to play, because defensively, offensively, in the middle, there's not really anything we can say is evidently about this Arsenal side under Emre specifically, as decent as people might think he is.
Yeah, no, to be honest, like you just said, you raised a good point. I think, aside from Sanchez, in the last decade, who has been better on the wing than you foresee Nicolas Pepe becoming? I don't see anyone. So we need to understand now, okay, we've got someone who can potentially be a superstar now. But I feel like it's easy for me to say because I've criticised a hell of a lot of men. But I've done it after years of giving them a chance. I gave Mustafi a chance at the beginning. I gave Ozil chances. I gave Xhaka chances. It's time to give these men a chance now. And I feel like I mentioned before, the other fans are going to Pepe to
Pepe,
shreds
yeah.
when he doesn't score. We need to be the ones to kind of
Support him.
and obviously even this episode, they'll watch it, they'll talk about it because they do watch AFTV, and it might not be nice for Pepe to have a show said Nicolas Pepe versus Wilfried Zaha, but at the end of the day, it's a discussion that needs to be had right now.
Yeah, of course,
you
it
never
is
know.
discussion.
Maybe in the future we might sign Zaha and you know, and they might link up together.
Yeah, that
international
different
duties as
country,
well.
yeah,
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 they
yeah.
come
Yeah,
down
yeah.
together,
It'd be
yeah.
nice
We
to
keep
have
on
them
saying
both.
why not have both?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because right now we're relying on youth for the wings.
Yeah.
But then again, if we have both, then
One of them.
Two strikers, two
we've
wingers.
got
How
Aubameyang
do
and
you fit
Lacazette, so it's like, and personally, I don't want none of them to go. So
No.
it's like,
Well, again, that's a story. That's a story for another day. But I would play Laka just behind Oba,
Yeah.
maybe in a 10, because he works back anyway. He might not have the creativity to be that in that 10 role, but his link-up play is good enough. It's something I'd try. But
Support striker team, yeah.
listen, we've lacked so much quality over the years that I'm gassed for Pepe. I just hope it works out. Do you know what I mean? Because I have the doubts that you man have as well. It's just that I kind of blame Emery right now for it, and partly Kroenke because of the investment, but Emery more
though,
so.
I feel like now I'm starting to understand. He was a Gazide's appointment. Like thinking of it now, so it's like, was that really the right decision to be made?
At the time, I guess it was the only decision we could come up with because we just had Wenger gone and
There was a lot of people on the shortlist though that I think got interviewed. Jardine from Monaco, Brendan Rodgers,
Arteta,
Henry even.
So, but
you know what I mean?
when you compare me to them, I'll take Emery over Arteta.
That's what I'm
and
trying to
Henry.
say. Yeah.
So at the time,
It was
and
a
I'm
good
still
appointment.
I'm still not overcritical of Emery.
No.
I still believe we need to give him the chance until January to see if performances improve because performances is key this year. We need good performances and top 4.
But with Brendan Rodgers, you can see what he's done at Leicester. You can see he's coached the players well. You know what I mean?
Straight away.
I feel like with Unai Emery, we've just signed him because of how
His CV.
CV. You know what I mean? So it's like with Rodgers, maybe he could have actually got a better coaching. At our club.
Potentially, or he had a better set of tools to work with when he arrived at the club, which I'd say is the case. I'd say Leicester, him arriving at Leicester when he did, I feel like they had a better squad than when Emery arrived at
But he's
Arsenal.
brought in a lot of players, like Thiele.
Yeah, he's brought in a couple.
his-
Yeah, he's
yeah,
brought in a
it's
few
his
players.
squad now.
Yeah, do you know what I
This
mean?
is his squad
He's
now.
actually brought in his players, and these players that he's brought actually has made a massive difference.
Yeah, well, we was linked to Soyuncu. We was linked to a couple of players, and then hence why I go back to the board and I have to ask questions there because you look at Soyuncu and you see a good centre back there. We need a good centre back. Why didn't it
buy
happen?
him, yeah.
But again, that's a story for another day. But Nicolas Pepe, this Sunday against Crystal Palace, I want to ask: is he going to score from open play? Deluded.
Hopefully. I hope so, man. I hope so, my guy.
Yeah,
man.
we all hope so. But is he going to score
I
from
don't. I
open
can't
play?
predict the future. If I did, I wouldn't be
No,
here.
you're gonna. But he's scoring
I'm
against
backing him.
Palace.
I'm
You're
hoping
having-
so. I pray
I
he
think he'll
does.
score.
Like-
I think he'll score.
I pray. I spent money on the ticket, so I pray.
Yeah,
he
yeah, we
scores.
go
Because
there.
right now, he's not at that. He's not at that level right now for me where I can just say, yeah, he's going to score. You know what I mean? It's a thing where like every time he scores right now, I'm like, wow, do you get me? So it's like remember like with Alexis Sanchez when he first joined, hit the ground running straight away. So when Alexis was
Different
consistently
animal,
scoring,
yeah.
I will say next
He's a
game Alexis is
superstar,
scoring. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
He
Like,
was a superstar.
with Pepe, I haven't got that feeling yet. So it's like I'm hoping he scores, but it's up to him. He's got to show me. You know what I mean?
All right, let me
He's
change
got
up the
to prove it.
question. Confident about Sunday?
As confident as I can be as an Arsenal fan, man. I mean, we're better at home. Hopefully we win. Last year gives us a lot of food for thought, so as confident as I can be, man.
Yeah, Livz.
Got to win 3 points. Obviously, Crystal Palace. I think we've got to go into this game knowing the last time we played Crystal Palace at home, we lost, and it was an important match that we lost. I
Yeah.
feel like because we lost our last game, we've got to go out and get the 3 points. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well,
Seeing as well.
seeing as Xhaka's coming out to say none of this mental bullshit matters and everything like that, well, Palace are part of the reason why man rips you, Xhaka.
Yeah, exactly.
So go and prove those words.
Yeah.
But again, Xhaka, don't even get me started
Different
on Curtis
conversation.
Sunday.
No, do you know what? I think we'll beat them because Palace will try and attack us. And I think that suits us. It'll create space. And I think last year Emery underestimated them at home by changing the team and playing Jenkinson, El Neni, and that's. I think they realise, you know, if they drop points in this game, it's going to a difficult period for Emery.
Yeah.
If we drop points, the fan base, we ain't got the most patient fan base, you know.
No, we
If we
haven't.
drop points again, they'll be on his neck.
Yeah, we haven't. But listen, thanks guys for coming on. Deluded as always. Your channel,
Deluded Gooner 04 and everything, man. All my socials, Deluded Gooner on YouTube, man.
Livz,
Livz Ledge on the Instagram, soon on YouTube.
and Curtis.
Curtis Shaw TV on YouTube, Curtis Shaw 9 on the Twitter and the Gram.
Appreciate your time, guys. Obviously, this has been Supporters Club. Thank you for tuning in. Let us know in the comments below, Nicolas Pepe or Wilfried Zaha, and will we win this Sunday? And will Nicolas Pepe score?